Well, the time is just gone 8 minutes to 9 as we head towards the news, and it's a time of the week where we bring you Crime Talk with eThekwini Secure, and standing by is Mohammed Batman Ismail. Mohammed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for having us again. And how are you?
Yes, no, Alhamdulillah, doing very well. And yourself?
Carrying on doing what we can do. Alhamdulillah.
Right. Today we want to look at crime and just get an update on crime in eThekwini. Now, I was in Durban last weekend, and briefly just had a bit of a break in Durban. But just looking at it, normally in this time of the year, okay, we're in November already. Before you know what's happening, is going to be the holiday season, and this has become an area of focus. And just looking at the latest in eThekwini, by way of crime, and just generally, what is the situation like, Mohammed?
Crime is in all areas and everywhere else. I think there's a lot of focus on Durban at the moment for whatever reasons it might be. Look, we have our issues. We have petty crimes happening. We have the normal sort of, and I say normal because crime is sort of has been normalized in our communities, and people have taken it for granted. But again, generally South Africa is crime-ridden, and it would seem that more areas have a harder hitting, sort of have more crime than other areas. So, it requires a lot of analysis and in-depth discussion regarding that. But we always advise people, always be cautious, always take precaution, always be on the lookout. I mean, if you're going to places, don't leave valuables in your vehicle. Don't leave anything in sight of a criminal. That say for example, if you're going to the beachfront, don't leave your bags on the back seat or anything of value inside your car where it's going to attract somebody. So that's the first thing, and ensure that you're well aware of your surroundings and go to areas where there's more people. Don't go to isolated areas. So these are the factors that are there in any event as we go along as we move from our day-to-day lives. And these are the same issues that we discuss at CPF meetings, month in and month out, and trying to encourage the community to participate. And community participation is the most important thing in night as we speak.
Yes, Mohammed. In fact, just funny enough, we are talking. I'm just looking at one of the groups that I follow, and I see somebody from KwaZulu Natal has actually posted saying, seriously, we have a major problem with society here. Also in KwaZulu Natal, paramedics are robbed,
Mm.
hijacked of the ambulance, and sometimes abused. The paramedics are normally first responders to an accident scene or in an emergency. Now, here we have it. We're talking of crime and people being robbed and those things, but here we're talking about essential service providers like paramedics and their ambulances stolen.
No, it's not the first time that you hear that of an ambulance being robbed or medics being robbed. It has been the case in the past. Also, depending, and you just reminded me of a story back in Johannesburg when I was there, and there was an accident scene that we were busy at, and the ambulance was right there. And as we were also occupied in attending to the patient, when the paramedics got back to the ambulance, the valuables were stolen, the GPS was stolen, whatever it is, they were stolen. So we were shocked to say that while this was happening, these guys were going about their business, and it's very very unfortunate. So I mean, who's really to blame for that? I think it's a sickness of a community, it's a sickness of people, where crime is a disease, just like dumping in the community is a disease. So how do we eradicate that? It's a difficult question to answer. We don't have those answers, except we keep on saying, be vigilant, be mindful. I come from a media background also, and if I tell you, 30 years ago, the first time I walked into the police station to do a story, and I spoke to the station commander back there, the Lenasia Saps, and the one thing he told me, he says, there's nothing to be alarmed about. Crime is stable. And move forward 30 years later, you're getting the same bureaucratic response to say nothing is not, don't be alarmed. There's nothing to be alarmed about. Because statistically, if you look at crime, if there is one hijacking in your area, for the police itself, it's one hijacking. But for the community, it's one hijacking too much. So we need to separate those issues and understand why the police speak that way and what's excuse me, and why is the community up in arms regarding that? So statistics say one thing, and community emotions say another. Say another. So these are the factors that we're going to continually unpack and keep on rotating all the time. Where we again going to say, be vigilant, set up your street committees, get to know your neighbor campaign, who's doing what. Where just yesterday, a few streets away from where I live, people have been concerned on this. They say that there's suspicious vehicles, people are parking outside, vagrants are jumping in the yard, stealing clothing, and copper pipes are being stolen all the time. Water meters are being stolen all the time, and these are real factors that affect the community. Yesterday, a supermarket got robbed at 8:15 in the morning for the second time in a row. So they look at easy targets. They come into a community that looks complacent, and they go about the very, very uh, uh, diseased way of doing things by robbing people and robbing businesses. So these are the issues that we are faced with, not only here in Durban, but everywhere in the country.
Yes, but Mohammed, when one looks at even police stations that are now, some of them employing private security to take care of police stations, now that alone speaks volumes.
Well, yeah, well, it does. Unfortunately, we don't have any security companies at the police stations in our precinct, but I think there was a time where criminals were coming to the police station and robbing the police station. What happened during load shedding? The police stations had to close the gates because criminals were coming in and entering these properties. Unfortunately, you know, the security companies, I just said something about security companies. They play also a valuable task in reducing crime in the areas. But you must remember they are running a business, so it's going to cost you. On the other hand, or the other side of the coin, the police itself has a logistical problem. So you find that there's probably still one or two vans for a police station that need to react to crimes that happen in the area. And the area is vast, the areas have grown. So when these police stations were built, it was built according to the sort of demographics of the area. And then suddenly you had an explosion. So the police stations became incapacitated regarding that. And these are the issues that need to be addressed very, very strongly by the powers that be, and start empowering the police with more personnel, more vehicles to ensure that the communities are safe, but criminals don't think that police stations are also easy targets. So it's so complicated as the years go. I'm afraid that there's not going to be a solution coming forward, but we have to continue pressing to get these matters resolved.
Well, Mohammed, as always, Jazakallah for your time, and also to eThekwini Secure. We certainly appreciate the
Thank you very much.
community updates. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Mohammed Batman Ismail with us, which brings us straight on to 9 a.m. Zahid Jedward is standing by with the news.